Hello, everybody, and welcome to CryptoBuyology. Today, we are talking about researching coins. And I want to say this is not the way of researching coins. This is just a way of researching coins, and this is my way of researching coins. So hopefully there's something in here for everybody. And if there's something that I do not discuss or something that you feel I've done the wrong way, please feel free to leave a comment if you're on YouTube or approach me on Twitter at CryptoBuyology, and we can, you can add to my conversation or we can discuss this. This is, free and open. I'm not cornering this information at any means. So I'm just showing you how I would research a coin if it was presented to me and I did not know anything about it. And I want to say that this is actually the second time I'm recording this episode. I just spent 25 minutes recording it, doing a video feed, and for some reason my video program froze even though the timestamp was still going, and I ended up getting like a minute of the information. So this is my second round at it. Hopefully I am better at it. So, and unfortunately, you guys can't see what I'm doing on my screen, so you have to use your imagination or do this along as you're listening, because I'm going to be walking through what I see on my screen, and so on. So when I first hear about a coin, whether it's in a Telegram group or on Twitter or, from a friend, I obviously get the name and the symbol, and if I don't know anything about the coin, I'm first going to go to CoinMarketCap, and I think that's what everybody does. Some people go to like CoinGecko or something like that, but I'm going to be talking about CoinMarketCap because it has all of the information right there that I use. So for this example, I'm going to be using one of my favorite coins at the moment, Wager, which I discussed in a previous podcast. I'm currently recording this on January 9th, and Wager's platform is set to be released on the 15th. And I say allegedly released because I'm not part of the dev team, so I don't know if they are still on track or not, if they're going to surprise us and be like, hey, it's going to be another X amount of weeks. I don't know. You never know with these types of things. So if I heard Wager from somebody or like my podcast, I would go to CoinMarketCap where they have a search bar that says search currencies. I type in either Wager or WGR, and as I'm typing, it's going to provide a drop down where you can then select the coin that you're looking for. And then from there, it's going to pull up the correct page. Now, if you just type in the search and hit enter, it's probably not going to work. For whatever reason, it has to. You have to click physically on the drop down to go. I think because it's technically not a search, or all the search results are happening as you search in that drop down. It doesn't have a page for search results. So I think that's what's going on there. So once you're on the Wager page or whatever coin you're looking up, you're going to see the logo and the name and the symbol. So up in the top left-hand corner, so I see Wager there, and then WGR in parentheses. And then across from that, you're going to see the US dollar value or whatever currency you have your CoinMarketCap set to. And then it will say whether it has gone up in value or lost in value according to that fiat dollar amount. And then below that, you're going to see, I think maybe it only does two. I don't know if it does more than two, but you're going to see other coins that it is stacked up against. It has markets in. So in Wager's example, it has the BTC value because there is a BTC to Wager market. And it also has waves there because there is a waves to Wager market. So there is also an Ethereum market, and it doesn't show it there. I don't know if it's because it just takes the top two volumes and puts it there. But anyway, and then below that, you see the market cap, the volume, the circulating supply, total supply, max supply, if it has those things. So the market cap is one of the top things that I look at. And the market cap is a way to compare this coin to other coins. And we look at the market cap because you can't just use price to compare two coins because the supply of the coins are different. So you can't compare a coin that has 1 million coins and it's $150 to a coin that has 1 billion coins and it's $5. You can't say that one is priced higher than the other. You have to look at the market cap, and the market cap is derived from the circulating supply times the actual fiat price. So again, we're talking about US dollars. So we're taking, in Wager's example, 183 million wager and timesing that by the current US dollar price. And currently the market cap is at $135 million US dollars. So that is how you can compare coins to other coins. So in Wager's instance, it is a decentralized betting platform. I don't think there are other projects out there that are doing exactly what Wager is trying to do, but we can compare Wager to other coins that are kind of in the same realm. So, for example, there is a project called Funfair, which has done fairly well recently, and it is currently at, I believe, a $600 to $700 million market cap. And then there's another project called Edgeless, and I believe last time I checked that was around between 200 million and 250 million. So if we take Wager and compare Wager to those projects and how far along Wager is to those projects, you can kind of get a feel for where Wager should end up if and when it launches its platform and it is successful. So again, Wager is going to be releasing an Oracle masternodes, which is something fairly new, where the masternode has scripts that actually get the data and the winners of these bets, and it is determining who wins the bet. So obviously, you need that information to be correct. So there are safeguards set up so that if Oracle masternode goes rogue and starts reporting, the bad results, it will get kicked out eventually, and it will no longer be able to serve up those results and get rewarded for it. So Oracle masternodes are something new, and Wager will have those, and they're supposed to be starting to launch on the 15th when the platform is also launched. And when the platform launches, they're also you're going to be able to bet one-on-one on different sports results. I'm not sure if there's anything other than sports at the moment, but I think they're starting with sports. So if that launches, in my opinion, based on where those other two projects that are kind of in the same realm are against Wager, I feel like if Wager can launch this and not have any problems and it be a successful launch where everything's working as they said it would, I would put Wager in a $400 to $500 million market cap after its launch and after the coin goes on a real quote-unquote exchange. Because right now the top exchange is the Waves decentralized exchange platform, which you can get to by downloading the Google Chrome extension. It's not in the browser anywhere. So when I compare Wager to those other two projects, and if Wager can pull that off, I feel it can be in the $400 million to $500 million market cap. Now, a lot of this depends on where the market is at the time. If it's feeling bearish, then you may not see the full market cap or the true market cap value reach, or whatever you think it is, or whatever it is. It may be fairly low because of the bear market. But if it's full in boom, like it has been the last month or a few weeks, when Wager goes on a real exchange like Bittrex or Binance or something like that, where there's a ton of volume and a ton of exposure, then we could see it fly up more than that. You just never know what people are going to get behind. And because this is new and unique, and the marketing is pretty good, the branding is pretty good, it may appeal to some people, and some people may see the value behind it like I do, like it being a truly decentralized platform. So anyway, that's where people might go beyond what I think the market cap should end up being after the launch. Post-launch. So anyway, that's how we use market caps to compare coins. So that's one thing to keep in your mind. Now, sometimes the market cap may not actually show up, and I'll get into how you can derive that yourself a little later on. But anyway, as we get past all that information, there are some links underneath the logo and the name of the coin there, and I will get into that briefly in a minute. But first, I want to go down to the tabs that fall below all the market cap information. And we have the charts, the markets, the social tools, and historical data charts. So when I first come to a coin, I look at the US dollar price, I look at the market cap information, and then I scroll down and I look at the chart. I look to see like where it is on its current pump or dump, or just where it's been in its lifetime. And that, that does gather a good amount of data of where it currently sits. Now, then I'll go on to the markets tab. And the markets tab will show you where, what exchanges the coin is on. So if somebody tells you about this coin and, you don't know where it is or where to find it, of course, this is where it's going to tell you. And CoinMarketCap lists these by volume. So the first source is going to be where the most volume of trading is done for this coin. So in Wager's instance, we're looking at the Waves decentralized exchange, and the pairing is Wager and Bitcoin. And the volume there is roughly 65%. So if you do want Wager, that's going to be your best bet, is probably going there. Because if you try to go to an exchange that has a fairly low amount of volume, the margin between the buy and sell price is probably going to be fairly large, and the amount of coin that you can get is going to be fairly small. So you may overpay and not be able to get as much as you want. So that's why you want to go to the exchange that has a good amount of volume, if not the top volume, so you can get the fairest price if you're going to buy or sell in that case. And then below that, we have the Wager and Waves pairing at the Waves decentralized exchange. And then it's also on Yobit and Tidex, which, Yobit's volume is 5%, and, Yobit seems like a little scammy of an exchange. There's always coins there that they just don't care to update the wallets and stuff, so they just become zombie coins. So I would, probably stay away from the Yobits of the cryptosphere. So then after the markets tab, we have the social tab. And I look at the social tab always because here you'll see the Twitter feed listed if they have one, and also the Reddit community if there is one. So if there is a Reddit community, it tells you that there's enough of a community where they actually care to create a Reddit community. And in that, you'll be able to see some of the top posts, some of the top questions, or the top conversations that people are having in the community. Now, if they don't have one, that's not like a strike against them. It just means that, there's just not enough or not as many people as passionate in this project that are on Reddit. It doesn't mean anything. So that's just a plus, in my opinion. But the Twitter feed I do look at because it will show you what the team is currently saying, if there are any issues that they're addressing at the moment, but also how often they post on Twitter. And a lot of times, if I'm looking up a coin and I see that their Twitter feed hasn't been updated in 6 months, I'm guessing or second guessing my decision to even invest in this coin, because to me that means that, one, the community doesn't care to have communication with its investors. Two, it could possibly be a dead coin, like there's no community or no dev behind it. And that's not something that I want to invest in, because we do all this research to make sure that we aren't buying a shitcoin, and then in the case that we get stuck with bag holding, we don't want to get stuck with a coin that has no intrinsic value. Because, if you get stuck holding Neo, Neo is going to go up. People know Neo. There's a use case for Neo. There's a reason why people would buy Neo. But if you get stuck holding a coin that has, no use case, then you may be stuck with it forever at that price that it falls to. and you may need to just cut your losses. And hey, it'll look good as a good red line for your taxes, so you can write off some of those main gains if you're in the U.S. But anyway, so that's why I look at the Twitter feed, because you can get a lot of information from that. So the tools and the historical data, I don't really, there's not much there. If you want to look at the historical data and get it in number form, it's all there. But then I go over to those links underneath the logo and name. And here we have website, announcement, explorer, chat, source code. There may be more than that, and there may be multiples of those. But those are the 5 that I'm going to touch upon. So, of course, you want to look at every coin's website. So the website will tell a lot about it based on its appearance. If it barely has any information on it and it looks like crap, then you know that they don't have a good team, or there's no money behind it, or people are doing it for free. Somebody in the community made a website, so that will give you a little sense on where the project is on that end, on the marketing end. So obviously you want to look at the website to get details on the coin, whether what the max supply is if it's not in CoinMarketCap, if it's POS, POW, all that stuff. But also if you want to look at the white paper that will be on the website. So to me, the white paper is not that important. I know a lot of people swear by it and they won't invest in coins that don't have a white paper. Obviously, if it's a project that you're investing in and not just like a POS coin, you want them to have a white paper, so that they're serious, at least that they are serious enough to write a white paper, and so you can read about what they're trying to build, what their technology is, what their idea is, and how they're going to do it, and why they're doing it, basically. So that is important, but I don't put that's not my number one thing that I look at. And then a lot of people like to look at the team on the website. Again, team is important, but who's to say that somebody you don't know about can create something huge? Just because somebody is well known or created something big before doesn't mean that somebody else can't create something, because you didn't know that person before they did it. So I don't, of course, team, if they're putting fake people up, then that's a serious red flag. So, but other than that, team's not that important to me, or not one of the top things. But quick story is that I was on Binance, it was a few months ago, and there was a coin, Nulls, and it just got added to Binance, and it was pretty cheap. And I didn't know what it was, so I went to their website, and their website, it was awful. It barely had any content on it. Of course, they're a Chinese project, and they're claiming that they're the Neo Slayer, and those are pretty big claims. So you could have backed that up with something of value. So on their website, all they had was buzzwords. So like blockchain, platform, modular, better than Neo, China's Ethereum, blah blah blah. But the website it just didn't flow. It looked like somebody made it as a scam. That's what it felt like. Being a web developer, web designer, that's just what it felt like. And there was no white paper. That's all it said. That's all it said on the website. So I'm like, man, how the hell did they get on Binance? It doesn't make any sense. Binance feels legit to me. So I don't understand why they would let Nulls, or whatever it's called, on their exchange. And because I was thinking about investing in it because it was really cheap, and I thought, platform coins are huge at the moment. So I then went to their Telegram group, and there was one guy there who was answering questions. So I assume he was part of the team, but it was like very poor English. Couldn't really understand what he was saying. People were asking questions, not really getting answers. It just, again, felt like a scam. People were asking, where's the white paper? And he kept saying, white paper soon. We're working on it. It will be out soon. And I just said in there, I'm like, man, I don't know. Everything I'm saying feels like a scam, looks like a scam, smells like a scam. I'm not investing, guys. And I was just kind of giving a little warning to people that were in that Telegram group. And then I got a private message from that guy saying the same thing. He is like, not scam, white paper soon, working on it. So I was like, I'm not investing in this, even though it's really cheap. And then in the days later, it pumped like 10, 12 times what it was when I was going to buy it. And I was like, what in the hell? Why are people investing in this? It's probably 80% a scam because there's not even a white paper. How are people investing in this? I guess they're taking huge risks, because if it turns out to be a scam and you get stuck holding the bags, nobody's going to buy those bags for you at the price you paid. So I didn't want to take that risk. And that's why I do the research. Doing this research is not to determine whether the coin is going to go up or down. It's to determine whether it's legitimate enough, in my opinion, to invest in, so that if something happens and I do invest in the coin and it drops, I know that there's value there to suffice holding on to that coin, that it would eventually come back up. But if you're holding a shit coin like that, you may have to sell for a loss. It's just one of those things you got to think about. But anyway, just getting sidetracked. I just want to bring that up about the white paper, because this team didn't even have a white paper and people were pumping it. And now it's like it got up to like $10, which I don't know if they ever made a white paper. I don't know. I haven't looked into it. Haven't wanted to invest in it after that. But they haven't even started. Back then, they didn't even start their platform, already saying that they're going to kill Neo, and people started regurgitating that, like, "Oh, it's a Neo killer," but they don't have a white paper. Why are you regurgitating that information? Anyway, moving on. So underneath the website, we have the announcement link, and to me, this is the most important thing to look at. To me, anyway, this is where I get the most value from. So the announcement link is to an announcement thread on a forum, whether it be Bitcoin Talk or Bitcoin Garden. So whenever a coin or a project launches, they usually make a forum post announcing it. And that's why it's called announcement thread, also known as an ANN, all capital. A lot of people don't know this for some reason, but to me, it's where you get a lot of the good deep information on like kind of where a project is at the moment. So when I look at that, at first, like on page 1, the first entry is usually like what the project is, what they're trying to do, all the links, and we'll also go into detail on how the coin or token is set up, whether it's just a token with a set supply, or whether it's like a POW coin or a POS coin, what the rates are, blah, 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 blah. So that all that is good information to look at or to look for. And then you get people saying that they want to do the, changing into different languages, blah, blah. But then I always go to the most recent page when I'm looking at a project. And that's when you can get, like right now, what are people thinking in the community? What are people thinking about the coin? Are they being dramatic? Is there drama going on? Are they fearful? Are they happy? Are they talking about something that's coming up in the future? You're going to get all that information in a snapshot in the last few pages of their announcement thread. So I usually start at the last page, read it, and then just keep going backwards until I get a good idea on what's currently happening with that coin. So if somebody is fudding, I'll read that, take into consideration why they're fudding, what they're saying, and then I'll work backwards to see what caused them to do that, what other people in the community are saying, and then determine whether that guy is just a lone wolf doing that, or whether he has a point and other people are just trying to calm him down because they're holding bags and they're also scared too, but trying not to show it. But then there's also, if people are excited about something upcoming, they'll be talking about that, and that may not even have hit all these cryptocurrency calendars yet. So you may be able to get insider information about certain events coming up before other people in the overall community have access to that information by going to these announcement threads. Other information you can get if people are asking certain questions. So if you have a question about the coin, it may have already been asked. So anyway, the announcement thread is like a snapshot of what's happening now with the coin, in my opinion. And to me, I like to see the morale of the community, and that's where I can get it quickly. So I look at the market cap, and then the chart, and then I look at the announcement thread to get a good feel of what's happening at the moment. And then based off that kind of gives me enough information to determine like whether I want to look more or whether I'm just done and I'm not, I don't care about this coin anymore. Okay, well anyway, moving on, under the announcement is the Explorer link. And the Explorer is just the block Explorer. It shows you like all the transactions. But the reason why I look at this is if I'm looking to invest in a POS coin, you can look at like what block it's currently on and where that falls in the POS rate, if it's a dynamic rate. Or if there's no market cap listed, it's because there's certain data that's conflicting. But you can go to the Explorer and get the total supply and get the market cap yourself by getting the total supply and multiplying it by the fiat amount, US dollars in this case, and arrive at the market cap. And now this still might be wrong, because if it's like an Ethereum token, you may be looking at the total supply, even though the team may have locked away some coins. So there might be some coins out of circulation, but instead you're taking the total supply and not the circulating supply. So you may get a market cap that is a little overinflated. So anyway, that might be some information you want to look up. If you need to come up with your own market cap based on that, you may need to look up, is the dev team or the marketing team or whatever, have they locked away some of the tokens? Moving on, if there's a chat link, it may be a link to their Telegram group. And this is again interesting. Like I shared before with the nulls, couldn't get enough information from their website, so I did go to the Telegram group. And there was somebody there from the team, allegedly, and I asked him, and it wasn't really a good exchange of information. But it can be another way to look at the overall morale, like I said, with the announcement thread. If people are fearful, they could be fudding. I mean, you'll see all that in real time. So it's like the announcement thread on steroids. But I like the announcement thread because people have to kind of think a little more before regurgitating their emotions onto people, whereas in the Telegram thread, they're just typing in whatever they feel immediately. So the announcement thread, a little more conservative, a little more balanced, and the Telegram chat is just emotions flying everywhere. And then we have the source code. So if the project is open source, they will probably have a source code link there, linking to their GitHub account. And some people look at this to see how involved the dev team is into updating the code. To me, I mean, if they're building it and you question whether they're still doing it, in that case, I can see doing that. But sometimes, the coin doesn't need to be updated, or they're updating in different. I don't know. Sometimes I just wouldn't put that much weight in the source code unless you have a reason to. For instance, I see Digital Note being pumped on Bittrex a lot, and I was a fan when I first got into crypto back in March of 2017 of Digital Note. I did buy some. At that point, the team was active, and it seems like now it's not. Like, I think they tried to do an ICCO where they tried to buy back coins from the community to then put them in bundles and then sell them in bundles to investors, and that totally failed. And this was, this is like 6 months ago or so. That totally failed, and then after that, you didn't hear a peep from the development team. And if you look on their GitHub, to my knowledge, at this point, there hasn't been that much action going on. So to me, I'm questioning in my head whether this team is still active. I find like their website hasn't been updated. There's a Twitter account called the Digital Note community, but that's just somebody in the community. And there's a Reddit, but some people may think that that's the dev team, and because there's people tweeting that it's live, it's not. The dev team isn't around. To my knowledge, I haven't looked up in the last few days if they are, but to me, I don't understand. Like, they're pumping a dead coin, and again, it's like musical bags. It's like when the music stops, whoever's holding the bags is gonna get the bad end of the stick. So I would not participate in those pumps, but that's just me. So again, I would look up in that instance, the source code, the GitHub account, repository does come into play there. But, only in certain circumstances. So another instance where it wouldn't is, I don't know, recently Dogecoin has been pumped by John McAfee, and but even before that, it's been pumped. It just seems like all the low-end coins are being pumped with all this new money coming in. And now the Dogecoin is at, I think it may have almost reached $2 billion. And to me, this blows my mind because what is the use case of Dogecoin? It's been around a while, and sure, there's a community around it. But I also read that the source code has never been updated. And I think, then this could just be my ignorance, I think it was a clone of Litecoin. But anyway, it has never been updated. So in this instance, it's never been updated. That doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with the coin. It could be stable. The fact that they never had to update it could mean that it's stable and they never had an issue. So that could be a good thing. So that's where the source code thing is a little questionable. But anyway, just going back to Doge and looking at its almost $2 billion market cap, if it is still there. I think maybe it probably fell down from there, but it was stabilized over 1 billion, which blows my mind because then you have something like Wager and all these other projects that are building something real, and they're at like $100 to $200 million, and you have Dogecoin, which is over $1 billion market cap, and there's no reason for it. So anyway, I get markets are markets, I guess. But anyway, it's just one thing to think about. It just blows my mind. And so, you could make a case that, if Dogecoin is 1 billion or over 1 billion, either it's severely overvalued or all these other projects are severely undervalued. And I would probably go in between and say they both are true. So maybe Doge should be, in my opinion, like around 100 to 200 million. And some of these other projects like Ubiq and Wager and some of these other ones should be more in the $400 to $500 range. Anyway, just my opinion. So that is how I do my research. And again, you may have other things that you do, and if you do and you think they add huge value to determining whether a coin is legit or not, please leave a comment if you're watching the YouTube, or if you're on iTunes, you can tweet me at CryptoBuyology at CryptoBuyology on Twitter, or go to the YouTube and leave a comment on this so we can have sort of a discussion, because I want to hear what you guys have to say, because you may have another perspective that I have not thought about yet, and myself and the community would like to hear that, so we can all benefit from your knowledge and your wisdom. So with that said, please subscribe, like the videos, and please, if you're listening on iTunes, do me a favor and go and rate the podcast. If you feel you get a lot of value out of it, 5 stars, that's awesome. If you feel inclined, leave a little comment there. I would like to get enough reviews there so that I have a review showing, and so that I can attract other people who may be interested and maybe looking for a rating on the podcast. Because now we're starting to get to the point where there are a lot of crypto podcasts popping up with all this new popularity driving in. So I want to be able to be found by those looking for a quality podcast. And if you think this is quality, please do me a favor and do the community a favor and upvote me on across the board on anything, or leave a comment on what I could do better. This way the community as an entity can win overall. Thank you again for listening to this. It's a little long, but hopefully you got something out of it, even if you are somebody who's been doing this a long time, or if you're a noob. Well, this is how you can start with researching coins. All right, guys, thank you. Peace.